Well, many families will be struggling this Christmas. Devastating research from the Salvation Army reveals more than 4.2 million Australians are going without food, and 20% of people will be forfeiting medical treatment to help meet the rising cost of Christmas. The Salvos have been hard at work providing support to Australians going through hardship. And joining me now for more on this is Salvation Army Major Brendan Nottle. Brendan, it's a tough time of year for many people. How are these Australians coping this Christmas?
Well, the reality is they're struggling, Caroline. We're seeing research which was conducted across Australia. It's very extensive research, and the results, I have to say, are devastating. So 1.1 million Australians we found are basically saying we're cancelling Christmas this year. And so they're saying to family members and friends, don't talk to us about Christmas, because they're concerned that they will need to engage in Christmas, which means spending money which they don't have. And we're seeing the cost of living pressures, Caroline, are biting extremely hard at the moment. And I think the thing that struck me this Christmas that was really quite startling was that what's basically happened is cost of living pressures do not discriminate. So I think in the past what we've seen is cost of living pressures and other issues have impacted certain groups of the population, but we're now seeing cost of living pressure is impacting the broad community, and it's really quite devastating.
Yeah, I think, look, everyone's tightening their belts. You're right.
Yep.
But that is really sad that so many people really feel that they have to cancel Christmas. How have the Salvos been helping out?
Well, we've opened our doors to everyone, Caroline. So we say to everyone, you're all welcome. And what we're doing is a range of things. We've been running Christmas lunches during Christmas and in the lead up to Christmas. And tomorrow we'll have Christmas meals happening right across the country. And we'll be seeing thousands of people coming along to those meals. What we're also doing is recognising that it's not just simply about the meal. So we're not just meeting food insecurity issues, but loneliness and social isolation are a massive issue. So 1.5 people that we interviewed during our recent research indicated that they're lonely, particularly at this time of the year. So we're reaching out and saying, just come along and engage in what we're doing here. We've handed out 350,000 gifts to children that would otherwise miss out on Christmas. And so it's been a really busy Christmas, but we just want to say to every Australian, you count. And we want to say to Australians, we want to see your better angels really be evident this Christmas, where you look out for a neighbour, you look out for an elderly person, someone that you think might be isolated, you pick up the phone to and just say, just checking in, let's have a coffee, let's just have a chat on the phone, so that people right across this nation see the best version of this nation possible, where we look out for each other and just make sure no one misses out this Christmas.
Because Christmas can be a really lonely time for a lot of people who've lost loved ones, who are grieving still over that, or maybe their kids have grown up and live around the world or out of home. Why do you think there's such a loneliness epidemic?
Oh, Caroline, it's really interesting. Like, we get to mid-November, towards the end of November each year, and you see people's behaviour change. I'm not just talking about the people that we see in Salvation Army centres, but we see it right across the community. And I think people become more agitated because they're reminded of what they don't have. So it might be they're reminded of material possessions that they don't have, so they can't provide the gifts that they think they should, or they can't provide the magnificent meal that they feel obligated to do. But I think it's more than that. I think people, as you rightly point out, are feeling that they're isolated from loved ones. There could have been a death. There could be some other form of tragedy or relationship breakdown. And there's that really strong sense of isolation. And I think it goes to something deeper in our nation, Caroline. I actually think over the course of the past couple of years in particular, we've become much more focused on ourselves, and we've taken our eyes off our neighbour. And I really feel that we're at a really significant moment in our nation's history, particularly after the tragic events of Bondi.
You're so right, Brendan. I don't want to have to end the program without asking tell us how we can support the Salvation Army in helping our fellow Australians.
Well, Caroline, people can do two things. One is they can just look out for a neighbour, make sure they're included. And secondly, they can go to 13 Salvos or salvationarmy.org.au and make a contribution, no matter how small it is or how large. We would really appreciate the support that we receive from Australia.
Brendan Nottle, you do amazing work. Thanks for coming on. Merry Christmas to you and everyone you help.
You too.